The first topical issue is in the name of Deputy Seán Kyne, and it's the need to publish the scientific research as well as responses by BIM to queries regarding EIS on the environmental impact of the proposed salmon fish farm in Galway Bay off the coast of Arran, and to address all concerns. Deputy, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'd like to firstly thank the Can Quarters Office for selecting this topical issue, and I'd like to welcome Minister Coveney to the Chamber to debate this very important issue. I appreciate the very heavy workload that the Minister has at the moment in terms of his work on CAP reform in Brussels, and I appreciate him taking time on this very important issue. I accept the bona fides of the Minister in terms of this project and the job creation potential of a project such as this, and the potential for growth within the organic salmon industry. And I'm sure the Minister is aware of the concerns that have been portrayed locally in a march last Saturday, but also an amount of communication that we've had over the last number of months. And I know that BIM and local angling groups have made presentations to various local authorities in Galway City and County, and have met with a number of Oireachtas members, including myself. The concerns are numerous. I suppose issues regarding sea lice and the effect that they would have on the native salmon and trout smolts within the river systems, such as the Spiddle, Cashla, Costello, Kilcolgan and Carden Bridge, and of course the Corb River systems. Concerns regarding escapees that might occur from such a large salmon farm, with over 7 million salmon being planned at its peak, and also issues regarding pollution from such a farm, and also the impact on local angling. And as you know, Connemara and Galway is renowned for its angling, and Lough Corrib being the largest lake in the Republic, a hugely important industry for us. Imahúram tá ceist na fós le freagar cumaidiú leis an firm éis seo, má tain sé ará bai sé cean na firmacha éisc is mós in Europe. Agus tá is agam go mbeidh postanna a cruthú, céibhéid ní me cínse ach mbeidh postanna go bhómhór ó tíomh próiseáil agus is maithan rud é sin do Connemara. Ach tá imní ar íoscairí agus chomhlachtaí íoscadóireacht faoi trúlú, faoi mílta mara agus ar implicétaí ar éisc féin. Tastian freagraí ar cheistena ó grúpaí íoscadóirí a Connemara agus Gaillimh go luath. The view of inland fisheries has been expressed also, and they've given the view of the board. They've indicated that they have concerns about the location and scale of the proposed salmon farm, how its development and operation could impact on wild salmon and sea trout stocks and their habitat, and that their concerns are based on scientific reports by respected authors and knowledge of the impact of existing fish farms on salmon and sea trout populations off the west coast of Ireland. They view that sea lice would have devastating effects on wild salmon, accounting for up to 39% of salmon mortalities, and that's from recent peer-reviewed international scientific literature. They've also concerned that the associated loss of jobs in the recreational, angling and tourism sectors if this development proceeds without adequate environmental protections in place. What I'm asking, Minister, is that you publish the responses from BIM to your department in relation to local groups' queries and concerns regarding the EIS. I think that, you know, we need transparency on all issues, and this is one of those where I think it would allay the fears and concerns and allow local groups, whether it be anglers or the IFI or whoever else, individuals, to know exactly what BIM are applying to before any decision is made. Because I appreciate you ultimately, you and the department will have to make this issue. You will be getting advice, I understand, from the Marine Institute, or they will certainly be giving a lead opinion as well. But I think it's important that the scientific responses, or the responses to the scientific facts, be known and be presented.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. You have 4 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Claire. I see aquaculture as a crucial component of the Government's Food Harvest 2020 strategy. To expand the production of Irish organic farmed salmon, I tasked BIM to investigate the creation of new fish farming production areas in deeper waters. The placement of farms in deep waters is designed to ensure that there is no impact on Natura 2000 sites, no significant environmental or visual impact, and no interference with migratory salmonoids, wild sea fisheries, navigation, or indeed tourism interests. BIM has estimated that just one of these production areas could generate over €100 million in exports per annum and create about 350 direct jobs. A further 150 jobs will be created indirectly in the service sector, supplying fish feed, netting, transportation and other services. Last year, BIM submitted an application to my department for an aquaculture licence for the cultivation of fin fish near Inishore in Galway Bay. The application and its accompanying environmental impact statement is being considered under the provisions of the 1997 Fisheries Amendment Act and the 1933 Foreshore Act, which provides for extensive consultation with stakeholders and also for a period of general public consultation. The public consultation stage of the assessment process in respect of the application is now closed, and a total of 410 valid submissions were received by my department. All aspects of the Galway Bay application are currently being examined by my department in conjunction with its scientific, engineering, technical and legal advisors. All submissions received as part of both the statutory consultation stage of the process and the general public consultation stage will form an integral part of my department's consideration of the application. It is important to note that the legislation provides for extensive consultation with stakeholders, including Inland Fisheries Ireland, which has responsibility for wild salmon stocks. It is important for deputies to understand that as the application is under active consideration as part of the statutory process, it would not be appropriate for me to comment on the merits or otherwise of the application pending the completion of the formal assessment process by my department. The application process is governed by legislation and must not be subject to parallel discussions by me as Minister or my department, which could be misconstrued as indicating a predisposition by my department in respect of the application. Of course, no such predisposition exists, and the formal assessment process will take into account and evaluate all of the observations received from stakeholders and the general public in relation to the application, as I have a responsibility to do. It should also be noted that the legislation provides for a possible appeal of the ministerial decision to the Aquaculture Licences Appeals Board, an independent authority for the determination of appeals against decisions of the Minister. I can assure deputies that the public interest is well protected under the provisions of the relevant legislation, and I am very conscious of the importance of proceeding fully in line with the statutory requirements, given the scale and ambition of this particular proposal.
Thank you, Minister. You have 2 minutes, Deputy, for a supplementary.
Thank you, and I thank the Minister for his reply, although I appreciate it is constrained due to the active nature of the application, and I appreciate that he cannot comment on the ins and outs of the application, but I suppose unfortunately there is a widespread concern in the locality about this, and again I'd have to repeat my view that the responses to the queries pertaining to the application from BIM should be published. I think that would give put all the information out there and enable everybody who has a concern, the IFI, local angling groups, people who are involved in tourism who have a genuine concern about the possible impact of such a large-scale project. If they had that information and they had the responses, they would be better able to judge whether all the facts are there or whether all the facts are correct. I firmly believe in facts, and you know, when BIM tell me that 90% of the salmon smolts that come out of the river catchments travel along the coastline up onto the North Atlantic, and yet local angling groups in the IFI say 90% of the same salmon smolts swim deep into Galway Bay. Which is the correct piece of advice? I believe that facts should be facts; they should be indisputable. And unfortunately, we're getting two sets of facts on something that needs to be known before any decision is made. So I think it's imperative that all the scientific data is fully out there, fully assessed, and that people are confident that before a decision is made, that everything is open and transparent and looked at.
Thanks, Deputy Minister. Do you want to respond?
Yeah, no, thank you. And I understand that there is a concern in relation to this project by some, and there are also many who are very supportive of the project. When you are doing something new in Ireland, you always get concerns expressed, and that is the way it should be. And that is why we have a procedure that we need to follow. And we're following that procedure, which is consistent with the legislation. and I will take the advice of my department and also in particular the advice of the marine scientists and marine biologists in the Marine Institute in relation to this application, as I do for other aquaculture and finfish farming applications as and when they arise. And it is important that we apply the same standards to this project as to others. And so we will follow the procedure to the letter. I know that BIM are making their case for this particular project, and they have been actively trying to do that through public meetings, through information sessions and so on. But ultimately, I must separate myself from the project to the extent that I need to make an independent decision based on the submissions that have been made of concern and also the advice that I get from scientists that I pay to give me that advice in the Marine Institute. And when I get those recommendations from the top marine biologists and marine scientists in the country in terms of the questions and concerns that have been raised, well, then I'll make a decision accordingly on the back of that information. I hope to be able to do that in the not too distant future. Of course, if people disagree with that decision, they have an option to appeal it. And we have an independent system then, which would have to look at all of the facts and opinions that are available, and we have a second opinion, if you like. But I can assure you, Deputy, that I and my department will be rigorous in our assessment of this to ensure that we make a decision that is consistent with the law and also is consistent with protecting the environment while at the same time considering the commercial opportunity of a proposal like this. And that's what I'm obliged to do, and I will remain independent, and that's why I will be somewhat limited in terms of what I can say in relation to the project while I'm considering this application.